But it has nothing to do with the point. But then, okay, then you look for something. Okay, well, yeah, well, no, I've trained dogs, killer dogs. I mean, I can tell a pit bull to come here and it will. Watch, come here, pit bull's here. So I think I'm an expert on water skiing. You know, so that's like stupid communication.
Yes.
Then comes to the part where somebody's insulting you and you don't even you're being insulted. It sounds like poetic. Like when they're tearing you apart, they're tearing you up in a poetic fashion. Mm-hmm. For example, if Colin Farrell's talking to Nick Diaz, "Hi, Nick, I know I've seen you, but you're a pretty good fighter, but shame that your chin doesn't agree with your brain. Because when I tapped your chin, your brain said, turn the lights off. You know, and it's a shame that you just can't block. I mean, you can dance, but you just can't block." That's beautiful. Like, he's insulting you beautifully. He's tearing you down, and you're actually enjoying it. It's like when, they say with Kobe beef, when they get the cow, they feed him well, then they sneak up on him and take him out. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like Conor McGregor. The way he's talking to you is like poetic. So it's amazing that you said that. And how did he build that? Life experience. Hard life. The way he was. That all has cemented. Because you're from a certain way, a rough place, and you're hanging around rough people, you can't say this word. Pussy.
Right.
Because they're not going to fight you. They're going to kill you. Or they're going to kill you later. You almost signed a death warrant, you know? So if you're from that world, you're not going to be able to act like you're better than somebody and be like, oh, I can do this and better, because basically they're just going to kill you.
Right.
But if you can insult a man so much he actually likes what you're saying, he doesn't even get it, but it's so powerful, the tongue is actually so powerful, that's that next level, man. So most times, Conor McGregor beats you before he even gets in the ring, because he's already torn you down. Like when he fought, was it Nick Diaz, I think? He beat him in the head, man. He actually got, it's hard. You can't get Mayweather. Mayweather's very mentally tough. I'm sorry. If there's one thing I think people ignore Mayweather, they think his boxing skills are top-notch, which they are, probably one of the best fighters at his weight class at all time. But he's mentally tough. This dude is mentally a freaking monster. And that's the best attribute.
Yeah, Mayweather, in the beginning, years and years ago, I didn't really care too much for Mayweather. Mm-hmm. And that's me saying that, not really knowing Mayweather, mm-hmm. not really researching Mayweather. Like I said in the past, and other casts we've done, I've been around his dad, have lengthy conversations with Floyd and his uncle Roger, and that's when I started, checking Floyd out. Now, Junior, like, hold on, let me check this guy out as an individual. Quit hate. I was just hating on him. I knew he was the champ. I'm just like, oh, he sucks.
So like me.
He's not really that good.
So like me. With the guy who could dunk.
Just hating on him. Yeah, for no reason. I had no reason to hate on Mayweather. So one day I flipping through the channels, I heard him doing an interview. I just stopped. Okay, listen to Mayweather. Heard him talking, and I'm into it now. He has me hook, line, and sinker. I'm sitting there just listening. Oh, this guy, he's not that bad after all. This guy's kind of smart, kind of nice. He's not my persona of him was this jerk, and I don't know why. I don't know where it came from, but I actually like the guy. I think Mayweather's a sharp individual. Like you said, I don't believe McGregor could have broken down. Mayweather, he's another street. He's not street, mm-hmm. but he grew up tough. His dad is tough. His dad grew up street. Growing up in a boxing gym, that's a rough life. Yes. Matter of fact, I know a promoter who used to let Mayweather sleep in his gym at mm-hmm. night because his dad would kick him out of the house. This is when he was, a teenager. Dad would kick him out. He'd be sleeping in the gym. Sleep in the gym. Go to sleep. Let him in. Go ahead, man. No problem. Go ahead. Let him see this when you're an amateur. And look at him now. You know what I mean? So
mentally tough. Because
tough people.
If you ever get an opportunity, I don't know if you do this. When Tyson Fury was fighting Deontay Wilder, I would watch their press conferences. And I'd watch them go back and forth. Now, one thing, I don't know, maybe if you're a little taller, you're a little more sensitive because you sort of got picked on early, probably by both people who are like smaller than you, say you're some kind of freak. But when you're that size, you're equal to adults. So adults are going to treat you like an adult, but you only might be 13 years old. You're not equipped for that. The way they talk to you or the way they might physically handle you. Like you see a 13-year-old kid, 6'1", you're not really looking at him as a child. You're looking at him as like, man, he's a man. And men look at each other in a competitive way. It's just in our nature. Well, certain types of men I don't think so. Men, we're creatures we're competitive creatures on different levels. But he's a kid, so he's not even thinking of that. So he's getting hit with these sort of a masculine competitive, situations. So it's going to make him bruised. It's going to sort of abuse him a little bit. Going back to Fury and Wilder. So when I'm seeing them going back and forth, one thing that Wilder kept saying, which I saw it affect Fury, because you got to look in a man's eyes, and you got to look in. You're getting somebody when you see involuntary eye movement, like a double blink or something. You got to look for the involuntary. See, there's certain ways we can hide things. There's certain things you can't hide. One thing you can hardly ever hide is the eyes. There's a little thing called a double blink or a quick look, a glance. That tells you everything. So I remember he called Tyson Fury's hands. He said he hit like pillows. That affected him. Like, I don't know what it was, but I saw right there that he lit a match to something that he was not going to be able to control. Like, there's things that you say, and there's things that you don't say. So Deontay Wilder saw that he had him. So after he saw that he had him, he kept saying it. He said, "Your hands are like pillows." He's a Southern brother. They snap a different way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you walking down the street, your feet look like moonshine jars that have been licked by big mean dogs. They just say this stuff. Yeah,
country boys.
All country boys. Hey, you know what? You got a face like a cow that got a face like a sheep. That's what you look like. So why don't you go back to where we come from? We come from Jersey. What you guys got up there? Corn? You go corn face Jersey. Gotta get out of here before I slap you. Slap you with the salami sandwich, you soprano wearing, the New York loving, the Philadelphia Eagles watch. Why don't you get on out of here, boy? If I take you, put you on the back of my truck and treat you like a female sow. Sitting like, what are you saying, man? So he hit like pillows. But it affected him. So I knew that's why I had an idea Fury's going to win the first time. I'll speed it along. The second one was when they were talking, Fury was just in Deontay Wilder's face, just talking trash. I think he called him boy a few times. And I saw the mental breaking happening. I saw, because as a boxer, I'm not a boxer. I've hung around boxers, with you and Deez and Bully and some other characters. So I know one thing boxers do not have, which is surprising. Of all the boxers I've met through you that I've met, they're very peaceful people. They're not angry people. Because anger can get you killed in a ring. If you're too angry, you're not going to be an effective boxer. Because boxers are cerebral. Once you mix emotion, which anger is an emotion, in with strategy, you've now lost. He has you. I mean, you can speak a bit more upon that than me. This is just my outside observation. Most boxers, I'm sorry to say, and I've met quite a few, I can say I have, are not angry people. They're very level-headed people. It takes a lot to get them mad. It does.
Just because you box don't mean you're angry. Me, for example. Am I an angry person?
Never.
Not at all.
Hardly
It has
ever
nothing to
see
do
you
with it.
mad.
I'm just a competitor. And fighting seems violent, but it's not when you actually learn the sport and you really learn how to fight, learn how to box, learn how to MMA, whatever you learn, you master it. I'm not saying I'm a master, but when you get to that point to where you're really good.
You're really good. You're a pro.
It's poetry in motion.
If people are paying to see you. If you've been paid to do that, then
Right.
You're at a different level. When people are paying you and say, "Hey, I'd like you to fight. I'm going to give you this money," that means that you have to have something
It's
to
a
you.
skill. It's definitely a skill.
Skill and entertainment. You got to have the because people want to see. People are not going to come see what they don't want to see.
Right.
Okay, so that means that's why a lot of times these boxers tee off on each other sort of at the weigh-in. Like they're like, "What are you doing? You just killed your money. Like this fight is for money. It's entertainment." So the boxers who got mad, they put on the old WWF sometimes.
I think they're serious when they do it. A lot of these guys, you got to realize some of them are basket cases. A lot of them are. Some of these fighters are just crazy.
Who's the guy from Nicaragua?
Oh, he's crazy. He's really crazy.
Yeah.
There's no WWE in the boxing. I'm telling you, like me, I'm cool, calm, and collected. When it's time for me to get in there, when I do, it's just in my mind, I have to fight you. So it doesn't matter what you say to me. We're going to be fighting tomorrow or the next couple hours anyway. So whatever you say is not going to affect me because I'm already thinking of a game plan to fight you in. You can call me every name under the sun. I'm just thinking how I'm going to get to you. It doesn't matter. We're going to have to fight. We're going to fight regardless. No matter if you call me every name in the book or if you stay silent, we still got to fight. So you can't let emotions get the best of you. You can't get in there angry. Matter of fact, speaking of that, I watched Holyfield Tyson 2 last night. It was on.
Amazing.
So I'm watching it not on YouTube, but on the TV. It was like an HBO thing. So I just got stuck because I saw 2 guys fight. So let me check this out. So I saw round 1 until he bit him in the ear. But man, these dude Tyson, he was they were emotionally involved. Holyfield was a monster at that time. Holyfield was he was training with Lee Haney. He was buffed out. I'm like, damn, look how big Holyfield is. Made Tyson look small.
Yes, he did.
I mean, from the waist down, he was a little thin. But no one's looking at their legs. No one cares about their legs. They're looking at that big old massive upper body. But he was bringing it to Tyson. Tyson was mentally distraught. They go to Tyson's corner. Man, he's butting me. He's headbutting me. He's headbutting me. He's everywhere. He's all over the place. Yeah, okay, I'm in. He was listening to the trainer trying to talk to him. Holyfield was in his head. He's grabbing me. He's grabbing me and he's headbutting me on purpose. I mean, his head was already gone. So,
exactly.
They show Holyfield. Now, Holyfield wasn't doing it on purpose. He was just fighting. He had to protect himself. Tyson coming in with them vicious hooks. Holyfield has to go a little lower.
Head down, right?
So, he has to dip. I mean, Tyson's shorter, so Holyfield has to drop a little deeper. So, as he comes up, he might have been clipping him in the head because Tyson leans forward. After he throws him hook, he's leaning in. So Holyfield's coming up while he's leaning in. He's getting hit in the head. Holyfield's not, he's just doing what he's supposed to do.
So Tyson should have made the adjustments, or just keep taking the headbutts, because the headbutts what exactly? That's amazing, the perspective that you give, because that makes perfect sense. If you look at it from not a journeyman sense, but like a novice or an amateur sense. They don't see the intricacies. They don't see the sort of the physics of that. The physics in it, because that's physics right there. It's physics at that's the positioning. That's everything. That's speed. That's energy. All that. So somebody has to make an adjustment. But then it comes down to pride. Who's going to make the adjustment? Well, Holyfield doesn't have to make the adjustment because his head's not being split open. So it's like Mike Tyson was sort of in a spoiled sense saying, well, the adjustment should be made for me because I'm Mike Tyson. And Holyfield's like, no. I'm going to fight you like this. It's funny that you say that because in an interview, Holyfield said there's no way Mike Tyson can beat him. He got Mike Tyson. He knows how to beat him. Just that alone, what you said, is enough to beat him. Because Tyson's uppercut and hook were his bread and butter, not his jab. Not that overhand. He gets you inside and breaks you down. Once he gets in that area where you can't block, he's going to check that chin. Then after that, you're not even there anymore. He can hit you with whatever now. So it's amazing that you say that, and Holyfield wasn't giving him that. He just was not giving him that. Just like if you watch the fight with Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard. If you watch that fight, the crazy thing is that the No Mas was not about Sugar Ray Leonard outboxing Duran. He was just so quick, Duran couldn't hit him. He wasn't giving it to him. He wasn't giving him the toe-to-toe.
The No Mas fight?
Wasn't giving him the toe-to-toe. He wasn't giving what he wanted. He wasn't hurting Duran. You can't hurt Duran.
If you go to fight 1, when they first fought, Duran was talking about, I'll screw your wife.
Yeah.
Like the mental game you was just talking about.
Yeah.
You were talking about the mental game. That affected Sugar Ray. They were intimate about it. They were in there and they were serious. And Duran, I'll fuck your wife in Spanish. Whatever he said, I'm gonna screw your wife. And Sugar Ray took that to heart. So when they got in the ring, they was banging. He said, I'm gonna bang with this banger. We're going toe to toe, and Sugar Ray can go toe to toe. If you watch that fight,
Tommy Hearns?
No. If you watch that Duran Sugar Ray fight 1, Sugar Ray said that was the closest thing to death.
Because those hands?
And I felt, because of the velocity, 15 rounds of going toe-to-toe. Nothing to do with Duran hitting him on. Yeah, Duran caught him. He caught Duran. But they went, I'm talking about just the velocity of punches and throwing. It's just toe-to-toe. Standing in front of another man, swinging hard as you can. 15 rounds. He said, man, that's the closest thing to death I ever felt. So the second fight, when it came around, that's when Sugar Ray said, I'm not going to fight this fight. I have skills. I got peekaboo. I can pull in, pull out. I can switch up, go to southpaw, orthodox. I can dance. Why not use your skills? Like if I fight again today, I'm going to use all my skills. And if I feel I'm going to bang, I'll bang when it's appropriate. But I'm going to use all my boxing. I train too hard, so you got to use them.
I think the new boxer, the new prototype boxer is more skill-based. That's why I'm saying like Andrew Ruiz is. We're not saying he doesn't have skills. He definitely has skills, but he's a banger. I think the new age boxer, I think is a lot more fluid, and I think they have a lot more technique. I don't think you're seeing a lot of people get in and just bang anymore. I think you're seeing a lot of people use a lot of technique. A lot of people, I think Floyd Mayweather may have led to that. And plus, you're seeing the ramifications on boxers. Like if you're seeing like Antonio Tarver. I got a story about Antonio Tarver. Antonio Tarver slurring. Roy Jones is slurring. I think I heard Virgil Hill slurring. So now these dudes, it's affecting them. The repercussions of their actions about sitting there and banging. Even Duran, if you ever watch Duran, he doesn't look like he's all there. When I saw the documentary, he doesn't look like he's all there. Just your brain is beaten to mush. So now it's like these newfound boxers, like there's just so much science out there that you're like, you don't got to get hit anymore. And people want to see shows.
They're still getting hit. They're not activating that D. The ones who are activating, defense is everything. I don't mean putting all my business out there because I'm going to bring up some champions, but my foundation is going to be defense first. Growing up, it was always offense. I played basketball, I wanted to run point guard. I played football, I want to play running back, wide receiver, or quarterback. I always want the ball in my hands. If I'd have known better, I would still want the ball in my hands. I could play a little bit, but I would go deep. I would have went defense. If I can go back and do it all again, I'd go to defense. I'd go to cornerback. I'd go to linebacker. I'd go do something defensively. Because defense is where it's at. Defense really wins championships on every level. If you could shut someone down, if you could shut them down, how are they going to score? If you could stop the other person from scoring, and you can have a little O. As long as your D is stronger than theirs, you got a shot, man. If you look at any championship team, they always had a defense, like the Bears when they won. Well, you don't know them for their offense, you know them for their defense.
That one Eagles team.
Eagles, defense.
Yes. Still Curtin.
Yeah, defense.
That's it.
Yeah, but back then they knew they had a good D, but it wasn't like emphasized. Right now, you could break down the technology and be like, look, this guy, he broke, they have these little stats now where they go step for step. For whatever you do, they got a stat for it. As quick as you can raise your left hand. He got it up in 2.2 seconds. I mean, they got stats for everything.
That's the fifth best hand raiser in the NFL. Fifth best.
He got it up in 1.1, so.
It's funny that you say that. It's funny that you say that just our philosophies. I was always a defensive person because I learned sports later on in life. And one thing you can always learn without a ball is defense. For example, if you don't know how to shoot, you can know how to rebound. That's why I think I like Dennis Rodman so much. When I saw Dennis Rodman, I was always a rebounder. I like to do that thing you said. I'd try to find the best player and shut him down. I'd try to shut him down or aggravate him, get in his head. I'd tear him down. And that's one thing that I love to do. It wasn't until later on in life where I learned how to shoot, which is probably the easiest thing to learn how to do. Learning how to dribble is hard. Basically offense is a skill, man. You have to learn, and you have to have a certain mindset that you don't care about making mistakes because you're trying to score, and you're not going to score every time. So you have a mindset that if I miss, I'm going to feel bad. Then you're not an offensive player. And I think that was another thing is that I didn't like to miss. I took a miss or anything is failure, and it's not failure. It's just an attempt. Then you go back and you do it again. With defense, as long as you keep your assignment and you do everything they tell you to do, most times defense, if you do the technique, it works.
Technique is everything. You mentioned Rodman.
Yeah, I loved Rodman.
Rodman
Loved him.
Look, and that's even when, it was always about offense, years and years, even just in the sports world, coming up. It's always about offense. They gave defense a little credit, but it's always about the offensive player. Now, Rodman, he changed that when he came around.
Yes, he did.
He changed that. This guy didn't do nothing with the ball. I mean, you give him the ball, he'll make his bucket. He'll make the free throws. He'll make a layup. Anytime you give him the ball, he'll make it.
Yes.
But his stardom came on defense.
He's
diving for ball. He's shutting down Karl Malone. He's shutting down
Shaq.
Centers. He's shutting down Shaq. He's shutting down. I mean, and he's playing hard. He could probably do the splits by the way he sets up in the defensive stand.
Did you see the size of his legs?
Oh, he's yoked up. It's all muscle. And that's from working. That's defensive work. That's a defensive body.
Do you know what I heard? I heard when he used to go to away games, he'd tell them to stop the bus and he would get off at a gym. Pay to go inside the gym and just start working out, lifting weights.
Wow. That tells you why.
They said he would watch other players' games and he'd study their games, who he's going to shut down. He said he would watch where people shot the ball and how many times the ball went to the left side, ball went to the right side. Phil Jackson said he'd walk in. He said he never talked to Dennis Rodman. He'd leave him alone. So Dennis Rodman would be on a bike watching a tape of a game of a team they're about to play. And he'd watch how many times the ball went to the left side, the right side. Dennis Rodman, see, people look at certain people, boxers or basketball players, or even the way somebody looks, and they really you cannot judge a book by its cover. Because a lot of people that people think are not that cerebral, just because they can't, eloquently say a statement, everybody doesn't have a silver tongue. And most of those people who have the silver tongue are not the smartest people. They just can say things the right way.
True.
But he's a genius to do that. That's genius.
He's a monster.
That's Bill Gates.
Yes.
That's Zuckerberg. They do the same thing just with something else. So what's amazing is tying this all back around, I think one of the main defenses is mental. If you can break somebody down mentally, you've already beat them.
Yes.
That's a defensive, especially if you of course you know jiu-jitsu, but jiu-jitsu is actually a theory. Same as physical jiu-jitsu, if I can spit the word out right. If you give somebody something they can use, they grab it. Then they take you down with it. Same as a word. You give somebody the wrong word, they grab it, take it down. Give them a phrase. You say too much. If you don't say anything at all, there's nothing they can use against you. But as soon as they get you to talking, boom, they got you. I was big with that. You know me sometimes. When I start getting in that mood, you can just say a word the wrong way, Nah, man, you don't know nothing about them trees. Oh, you mean nothing about that tree? You non-English speaking, speak and spell.
Right.
And I got you. And now you're on the defense. So unless you know how to laugh it off or bounce mentally, you're going to try to come back. If that's not your skill, then I got you. You're in trouble.
Yeah.
So if I can get you talking, I've beat you already. Then if I start scoring, then you're done.
Yes.
Some of the best players or people that I've ever met in their fields don't say a word to you. They just destroy you. And they don't say anything even after the game or the match because they make you feel like you're worthless, like you're not even there to them. They walk by you like you're not even there. It's like they don't even say a word to you. They don't even say like good game or anything. They might say good game, but it's so dismissive. Like you were nothing special. Like during that, it was just a dance we did. You're not a good dancer. Hey, good game. And ignore you. Like, hey, where do they sell pizza? I love I love pizza. And that's it. So when somebody does that, that destroys you. Now you're mentally destroyed. So what you said is crucial. Especially with let's go back again, like Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee is the first MMA dude. Jeet Kune Do, right?
Right.
But what I heard, not but dismissing, rather, I heard, and I think you told me this, and then it was actually verified years later that he came over to America and fell in love. Oh, it's Eddie Bravo. And I saw Eddie Bravo on Joe Rogan. He talked about Bruce Lee's affinity with the American boxer. Like he came over and he loved boxing.
Right. I did tell you that first.
Yes,
by the way.
yes, you were first. And Eddie Bravo
backed it up. Okay.
Yes, because he said that when the Chinese came over and tried to do that stuff on the black kids, that didn't work.
Yeah.
Because boxing's defense.
I actually got that from Brad, my brother Brad.
That's right. Brad's a smart dude. Oh, how's Brad doing? I missed that dude, man.
Brad's cool.
Yeah.
He's up in Oregon, waiting to get married when the pandemic calms down. But